Well, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG with Sean again from Team Kitchen Fable, our weekly Team Kitchen Fable video. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk about Double Strike for a third week in a row. It's the best. It's the best card ever printed for Ninja. So guys, buckle up. We're going to talk about it again.
We are not talking about Double Strike
no,
this week. We're going to talk a little bit about pre-release. I think Sean will share like his experience, and then we're going to talk about building a community and how Sean's seen that flake out in his local community and how I'm seeing it shake out in my local community, and just talk about Flesh and Blood a little bit. So strap in for the next 10 minutes. And Sean, how was your pre-release?
Pre-release was good. I got to go to one. In the 12 pre-releases I've been to, I only went to one for this set, but between Aria and Monarch, I went to a ton. And I've never pulled anything good, like ever. Like, I think the best I've gotten is like a single cold foil common, if that. Like, I may have dodged cold foil commons for pre-releases for like 10 attendances. And I finally pulled a legendary rainbow foil Shuko, which it proved to be very strong in the limited environment. You cannot complain about 2 block and extra damage over the course of a game. So I ended up winning that pre-release. We did not draft at the top 8, which I'm not complaining about because I got to go see my grandparents afterwards. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, Fi is a lot of fun. I think that he is basically what everybody's saying. He's pretty easy to pick up. He's constantly pressuring. At the end of the day, like when you have a Ninja versus Ninja, sometimes you can get high rolled, but most of the time it's about picking and choosing your blocks, even with Fi, who isn't as defensive. You know, I thought that some of the cards, like that one Oasis card, like is it a D? It's not a D react. It's an instant that prevents damage, I believe.
Damage. I got one sitting around here somewhere.
Yeah, that thing is sick. Yeah. Anyways, I almost lost a game multiple times because of that card. That was unbelievably stressful.
All my games in my pre-release went pretty close, other than one against Jermai.
This set was markedly different in that the games actually went to time in a pre-release setting, whereas in Aria they were over in like 10 minutes.
Other than Icelander versus Icelander.
Correct.
Those games are super fast.
Yeah. I didn't see much of that happen, so I can't really comment. But this is markedly different in that I like the build paths better in Aria, and I like the options I have, and I think that I could play any of the heroes and do like multiple strategies that are a little bit more obvious. Like I think it's a little bit more higher levels of play are more accessible in that set. Mm-hmm. Whereas in this set, to tap into the full potential of Islander or Dromai, you've got to be really sweaty. And even then it might not match up to a middling Fi player.
Right.
So I guess that in a nutshell is my review of the set. I think the flavor is great, and I think people have a lot of joy playing it, but I also think that there's a staleness to the gameplay that I just don't think LSS should do any Uprising sealed callings. Like I'm not excited about that. That doesn't sound enjoyable. But do drafts at RTN all you want.
Do you feel like drafts will be more competitive, or do you feel like it's still focused into 3 builds, whereas Tales of Aria focused into really you had like a multitude of other options. Even you had 3 heroes, each hero had different build patterns. So do you feel like this gravitates into just competing for those rock paper scissors, or how does that work?
Yeah, I heard you and Josh talking about this rock paper scissors thing on the podcast. I don't think it's rock paper scissors. I think that there is counterplay for each hero, right? So like right now the rock paper scissors meta is Dromai beats Islander beats Fi beats Dromai, but also Fi beats everything. So that's kind of what people are experiencing.
Yeah, but it's early and it's an aggro deck, right? Like that's...
Yeah, and it's also in a sealed environment, right? You have significantly less control over what you hit in a sealed environment. Mm-hmm. And in draft, I think there's a little bit more counterplay that's available to you. So for instance, why am I going to play Rake the Embers against 5 when he can just chip away at my Ashwings? Or, just, get an on hit to like Rising Resentment on hit on one of my other dragons, when I can just Centipede him for 8 or whatever that 8 damage red illusion stack. Why don't I just swing that at him? What are the odds that they have a Phantasm Breaker?
Mm-hmm.
And what are the odds that that's efficient for them to have in this moment? Probably really low. So I can choose to block with 2 cards, relevant on hit, and swing for 8. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that not all of Dromai's tools are tapped into in the sealed environment, because you don't have enough of any specific type of tool to be particularly happy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Same is true of Islander. And we've run a... Hang on, I just messed up my audio.
Yeah, you're good now.
We've run a few drafts on the team so far, and it's significantly more balanced in a draft environment. Like Tyler, one of his pre-releases did go to top 8 draft cut, and he won on Islander. Like, it's totally doable.
So
significantly more competitive than sealed.
I have no doubt in my mind that it's more competitive and more balanced in draft than sealed. My question is it more fun?
Yeah.
I think the funness of Tales of Aria draft was picking your almost subclass within the class that you chose, or subclass within the talent system. And is there that level of change hero to hero, or are you just playing Dromai and your Dromai deck this week is going to look the same as your Dromai deck next week, plus or minus a Majestic pull?
No, I don't agree with that at all.
Okay.
I
haven't played draft. I'm asking you.
Aria has 2 obvious paths and then some synergies that overlap, and basically no generics for the most part. I don't think, just like class generics that are pretty rare. And that, in my opinion, is what, like, I rank Tales of Aria underneath Welcome to Wraith, Tales of Aria, for what you should be playing draft with. And I guess to our next topic of conversation, bringing new players into the game and kind of training them up to exist in this meta where we've got talents and all these different types of interactions. We have 2 wizards that are viable now. Like, before, you used to be able to bring a player into the game and just say, yeah, you can ignore Kano. Like, he doesn't exist. Yeah. And now Arcane Barrier is a very relevant mechanic going into Constructed. So I guess what I'm saying is Aria is way easier of an onboarding product. Uprising is cool. And I'm not saying it's like a hard to learn set or anything, but like you said, it's not as immediately fun to build. Like, you have to kind of dig in. But by no means, and I have to plug in my Monarch hate for the video, it is by no means anywhere what Monarch is. Like, Monarch is down here, down here, and every other set is over here. We've got Arcane holding the bottom right up here, and Uprising is like right there.
There you go. I like it. Okay, well, let's talk about getting people involved, and tell me a little bit about your LGS, what's going on there, and then we'll share about mine too.
Yeah, so we've been growing pretty recently. We went to 2 days a week at one LGS. The other LGSs in the city are unfortunately doing some sketchy stuff with promos and whatever, so we just boycotted, right? But that's been very productive in that the LGS we do go to has a lot of players coming in and out for different things. And we've had the opportunity to teach some new people how to play. And the big thing, and this is going to be a surprise, and I know this is rated pretty low, but the classic battles decks do work. Like, we sit people down and we say, no, before you do anything, before you watch us play, like, we'll explain it to you as we're playing, so you will pique your interest. But the first thing you should do is play classic battles, and it works tremendously. They get to see all the cool foils. Like, it actually is a well-designed product. So all of the games, even against experienced players, if they have a little guidance, they will go to that second cycle of your deck. Like, they will get to experience what a full Flesh and Blood game looks like, without extreme amounts of variance or one mistake crumbling your whole your whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Very clear like icons on the defense reactions, which honestly, like I get that it was a beginner's product. I would love to see icons on all my defense reactions. Like that's just cool. And that has been very helpful. We've taught 5 new people how to play with that in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then what we've decided to do is we said for limited, we're going to stick to Welcome to Raid.
That's good.
And we're going to play sealed first, and then we're going to draft it afterwards. And what we're finding is that people have when the transition going from classic battles to Wraith is like so natural because they've seen 2 of the heroes. Yeah. Sure, there's some variants, right? Variations, I mean, between. Yeah, but it's really cool. And then Ninja is even easier to pick up than Brute or Warrior.
Yeah,
significantly easier.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue the same thing about Bravo for like base proficiency.
I know a lot of people who use Bravo as like the teaching tool for Flesh and Blood.
I like don't agree with that.
No.
Like it makes sense, but it teaches a very specific play pattern that doesn't apply to 80% of the other hero pool. I mean, whereas Ninja like translates more, but yes, Bravo is a great, easy to learn.
Any WTR hero, in my opinion, is an acceptable hero to use to teach somebody how to learn to play a game.
Correct. So yeah, we've been doing that, and I just had a great 10 minutes before we recorded, I had a great conversation with the manager. I said, hey, listen, like people want your history packs. Please order more. People want your welcome. We want more Welcome to Wraith because I don't want to have, because what I had to do, like we bought all of it and I had to order from elsewhere. Shout out to George from Compete Sport for helping me out and getting me a case on time so we could play on Tuesday, the day before this video drops.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, like this is the set that new players can pick up. And we're committed as a community. And this is where like finding a good community advocate is important. We are committed to getting product from you and playing it on this day. So every day for the next 2 months, you will sell at least 1 box of this product.
Yeah, that's cool.
Every time. And then for Constructed, we've committed to go Commoner and Blitz as a community because we said, you know what? Yeah, CC sounds great. RTN season's coming up. But you know what's even better is actually nurturing the people who are coming into our community.
Yeah.
So Commoner and Blitz. So all this stands to say is A, be educated on what's valuable to new players, which I just kind of gave a quick overview. B, make sure you have a community leader who's willing to advocate for it. And it helps if that leader is someone who's also at the top of the competitive scene, because what happens is people will listen to it a little bit more, right? So like your top grinder kind of needs to step in and be like, yeah, I'm for this. I'm willing to take like a cut to my reps with the same 3 people for the sake of having 8 people coming in and playing. Right. And then the other thing is talk to your manager of the store and explain because not all store managers understand how to build a scene in Flesh and Blood. Like there are some stores who come into Flesh and Blood because the owner loves it. Mm-hmm. And then there are others that have it as a product and offer it, but they kind of need that extra kick to learn what's important to the player base and encourage them to order product around that. So I said more history packs because if they had history packs on Friday, they would have sold at least 2 boxes and out of 5 people being there. Right. And really negotiate with your manager and kind of give them that sense of security that they won't be holding the bag, right? Like if they order this product, doing things like sealed and draft events, and then also identifying the sets that people want and leveling with them on how much they should order and kind of encouraging them to take polls from because not all stores do this, believe it or not, take polls from their player base on how much product everybody wants. Then they aren't stuck holding the bag and they're actually excited to help you do that.
Right.
And the last thing is create a community bulk bin. So the other conversation I had was I was like, look, I've got 5,000 cards that I can donate today. Mm-hmm. And they were enthusiastic. They were like, yeah, definitely. Like we'll definitely help you out. We'll even give you like a few free packs for doing it. Right. And starting a community bulk bin helps when we play that game of classic battles, and then I point over to the other end of the store and I say, we've got a bulk bin going, go ahead and grab some stuff.
Right.
And that has helped tremendously. Like, they'll go through, they'll see the card arts, I sneak in a few Majestics here and there, so they're like, oh, whoa, we got a hit, like stuff like that. But anyways, that's kind of the end of the conversation. But I really think that identifying the products that LSS has made to onboard people, and then working with your store with very clear outcomes that you want, and talking about product and cost and onboarding and ensuring that they don't hold the bag, is really, really helpful to growing that scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said is really important, having somebody who is an advocate for that. Like, that is a that's what I was before I started my store and before I started the YouTube channel and got in. I wanted to get into Flesh and Blood, and I went to the store owner and said, hey, look, like, let's get the product in and see if we can get people to play. If it doesn't sell, I'll take the product. Like, if it, like, I want it, but I also want other people to be able to buy it. If it doesn't sell, I'll take the product. And like guaranteeing and promising, even paying for it, like even upfront giving him the cash to be like, I want you to carry this game. I think that's huge. Like, starting a new game is rough for a store because you have time. You like shelf space. I can make more shelf space in my store. Like, you can do it. Like, I've got enough Pokemon that I can move one of the giant V-Star boxes to the left and like make some room for some other new card game. But actually organizing events takes time, and time is money. So if you have an advocate, if you have a community advocate who comes in and says, hey, I want to run Flesh and Blood events, will you can I run, you don't have anything on the schedule on Monday nights or on Tuesday nights, can I run Flesh and Blood events on Tuesday nights? And I'll do it for you. I'll run it with you. You can continue to do trade-ins and do whatever you need to do, but I'll be the advocate where I will host that. That is so valuable to a store. And I think if more and more stores, I can't see a store not being okay with that, not being excited about that. If more and more stores hop on board with that, then more and more stores are going to hop on board with Fab. So I think if you are somebody who's complaining that your store doesn't have an event, reach out to your store owner or manager and say, look, like, I want to be the person that gets people in the door and brings people and runs the events. And I think that's a huge win.
Yeah, I don't want to commit us to this, but I think over the next few months it would be cool to have like just like a one pager on what's important, because I think there's been a lot of like cool things that come out on like nifty events you could have that are new player friendly. I don't think any of that's relevant. I think it's really about the relationship between the community advocate, the manager, and then the commitment to making sure that the new players have product. Like, nothing is more important than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it would be cool if LSS kind of had that, like if they understood what that engagement was. But I also think it would be cool if the community just made it as well. Like, I'm not going to put that on LSS, but if you are somehow watching this and you have experienced this, or you want to grow your local scene and you're not sure, I guess message,
leave a comment.
Leave a comment, and then I will notice and message you. Yeah.
Well, good, man. Those are good takes. And what's the team doing?
Team's just grinding away. We've done a few drafts. So
you guys actually have it built into something, right? That you are able to draft packs?
Yeah, so FabDB did come out with the pack generator, but before that happened, we just went through like pre-release box openings, and we just literally copied every card that was open for a box, and we said, all right, that's our draft box. And then
that's cool.
We loaded those into TTS.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's sweet. So you guys have been practicing sealed, getting ready for sealed or draft?
Just draft. I mean, sealed's a waste of time until they announce something where sealed is relevant. And I also hope that they don't announce something where sealed is relevant.
There's a couple pro quests in that first month because of the delay that got moved to draft. Are you guys playing any of this?
You mean Road to Nationals?
Yes. I'm sorry.
I don't think I was influenced, because for some reason, like 90% of Florida is draft.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case with a lot of people. I'm hearing a lot of like, I wish there were more constructed Road to Nationals. So
Interesting.
yeah.
And then they just announced Nationals is going to be in November.
Did they announce where?
They did not announce where or when. Just that James White.
What's the Worlds time frame?
Oh wait, maybe that was Worlds.
Yeah, I think Worlds is November.
Worlds is November. Yeah, I don't know what Nationals is.
It's got to be like September,
Yeah.
October. All right.
Cool. Well, fun, dude. Well, keep practicing, keep it up, and looking forward to more. You guys can go watch. Are you guys sharing any of that draft content?
Yeah, we actually have. So we're going to be covering Islander and draft. We're going to be talking about the list that Tyler won with, the signals that he saw, and then also the, generally speaking, we'll go into like tips and tricks for Islander outside of the context of that draft. So cool. Keep an eye out for that. That should be out later this week.
Sounds cold.
Just end the stream, dude.
Get it? Sounds cold.
That's it. I've had enough.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Go subscribe to Team Kitchen Fables YouTube channel and go watch their videos. Sean, always a pleasure, and we'll have you on again next week.
All right. See you guys then.
Be kind to the people around you.